Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today we're looking at something a little bit different, something that I don't normally look at on this channel. And what we've got here are some bits out of a friend of mine's car. He likes his luxury cars, as we all do, and he has a Lexus RX300. It's one of these big Lexus SUV things, and it's getting a bit old now. He didn't buy it new. It's an 05 plate one, so it's certainly getting long in the tooth. And the problem with big fancy luxury cars when they get over 10 years old is they start having issues. And this being a big fancy luxury car, it doesn't have normal suspension on it like mine does. It has air suspension, where it has basically airbags on each corner, and they raise and lower to adjust the height and adjust the firmness of the suspension. And he got in it the other week, and the suspension started playing up, and basically sent the back of the car as high as it would go, and the front of the car as low down as it would go. And my mate was he had to go in hospital for an operation, so he asked me whether I could whip it round to the garage for him. That was a fun drive, the half-mile from his house down to the garage. Anyway, what they diagnosed was one of the levelling sensors had failed, and I know the guy that runs the garage. He's someone I've known from many years. He also knows that I do a little bit with the electronics, and he called me and said he'd just been to Lexus to price up a new part, one of these new sensors, and they are £350 each, and it has two. It has one at the front and one at the back. And I nearly fainted at that. So basically he said, could I have a look at them and see if there was anything I could do with them? That's what we've got here. So these are basically the sensors for the air suspension out of a Lexus RX300. This one this is all sorted, this one now. Actually, I did fix this one for him there, and then it didn't take very long. And I took it back, and he fitted it, and the car actually did, the rear suspension came down, it started levelling up and everything. And then he discovered actually that as well as this being faulty, the one, oops, my meter's over now, the one from the front of the car, which I've just got all tangled up in my cables now, this one was also playing up, so he said could I also take this one and see if I could do something with this one as well. Basically all these is really, it's a glorified potentiometer. That really is all it is. I've got a little test set up here so I can just show you exactly how these things work. Let me just get this reset where I had it all set up and now I've knocked it all over. Just bear with me a second, I should be able to get this in camera shot again. Just right, can you see them 2 meters there? They're both on the 200k resistance range. Sorry, 2000. So they're both on the 2 meg resistance range. And I think I've lost a wire here. Just a sec. Oh, there we go. I have got this a little bit lashed up. Like I said, it's just a quick test, just to show you basically how these things work. I don't think I'm getting a good contact there now. Am I? Right. Let's have a look. So basically what you've got is you've got 2 tracks of a potentiometer, with a common ground, and one side and the other side, and this is the actuator. This is what actually connects to the suspension. If you watch the 2 meters there, when I actuate this across, you see we've got 0 there, we've got 4 there. When I actuate this across, if you look, turn over, so here we've got the 4 there, the 0 there, and if you look, it's actually quite a nice smooth I change it. And basically that's what goes wrong with these suffer from exactly the same problem as Atari 2600 pedal controllers suffer from. And I'll open the other one up and I'll show you what the issue with these is. Let me just get my mixtures out of the way. So you've got an idea exactly what they're meant to do. That's how basically how the computer in the car senses the position of the suspension. As the suspension moves, it moves that arm, and that arm then basically changes the resistor on the two variable resistors in here, and that translates to where the position of the suspension is on the height. It's quite simple really. I was expecting something a lot more complicated, but anyway, I'll open this one up and I'll show you exactly how simple these are really to sort out, if this is what the problem is. And it seems, like I say, it seems to be exactly the same issue that the old Atari 2600 pedal controllers suffered from. I think probably these more in the case of, you know, they're underneath the car, they're getting sprayed with salt and dirt, and they're not in exactly a very nice place to be. And I think eventually they just get a little bit of crud in them. The one that I fixed first, that one from the rear, certainly had, it actually had, there's a little rubber O-ring in them, and it mustn't have seated when this was originally made. And it had pinched it in one side and it had let moisture in. And that one, I had to actually strip that down and put it in my ultrasonic cleaner and clean it all up. But I've got it so it actually works again. So this one isn't in a bad condition. This one's actually in fairly good condition, but all basically that happens, you can see we've just got a carbon track on there, and then we have, and these are actually gold plated. We've got some gold plated springs and a couple of little bushes down there, and they just run on that track, and it literally is just a case of getting some cotton buds and a tiny little bit of isopropyl. I do mean a tiny little bit of isopropyl, because we don't want to risk, let me just tilt you down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Zoom you in a little bit. I'm just get a very, we're not going to soak the cotton bud in isopropyl. We've literally just slightly moistened it, just give it, just get it slightly damp. In fact, you could just leave it a minute just to, yeah, that is very slightly damp. So we don't want it wet, we don't want to risk trying to bring any of this carbon off, we just want to clean it. And all we're going to do is basically just give a quick clean over these carbon tracks like this. Oops, you can't, this is the problem you see, because I'm left-handed. I'm going to try and do this right-handed so you can see, but I'm not sure how well this is going to come out because I'm not ambidextrous. I am definitely a lefty. Left-handed, that is. But basically, it's just a case of giving the carbon tracks here a good clean over. And I've only got a tiniest amount of isopropyl on the end of here. Just enough. Just to see if I can get any of the crud that's built up on there off. You can see, you know, there is a build-up of, oops, that's not focusing very well, but there you go, you can see it there. There is a build-up of crud on there. It's very tricky for me to do with my right hand, but all we want to do is make sure that that track there is absolutely perfectly clean. Like that. And then we'll get the actual the body of it in. We've got the two little brushes there, and again we just want to make sure that they're clean. Now we can use a little bit more isopropyl here. So it's just them carbon pads, you've got to be super careful. You don't want to soak them in something that could risk lifting them, otherwise game's over. But basically we just want to give these again a gentle clean, make sure they've not got any muck and rubbish on them, and we can just lift these springs out. These gold springs, and again we just want to give in there a quick clean, make sure it's nice and clean like that. reassemble them. The springs actually on this, the other one that I did, the springs were all gummed up because it had been letting water in. I don't think this one has, so you could just perhaps just go over the end of them, just make sure they are perfect. But so these are all nice and shiny. The other one that I did, these had all got all gummed up where it had been letting water in. This one's actually much nicer condition. Then again, the other one wasn't actually reading any resistance on one track at all. It was completely open, as where this one's just, it was just intermittent on the tracks. You know, when you swept it across, it lost and gained connection as it went. It wasn't clean. It was like literally a dirty pot. That's what I say in the analogy of a Atari 2600 pedal controller. When you turn it and you watch the bat and the bat jitters around. Basically, that's what this was doing. And that was obviously confusing the actual auto leveling system on the computer in the car. So we'll reassemble that now. Now we've given that a clean. Make sure that the O-ring actually goes in place, because we don't want to trap that. As I said, that's what had happened with the that is what had happened with the other one that I worked on. There we go. That's in. Yeah, I think that's actually what had caused the problem with it. But that one again was a lot more severe of an issue than this one. This one, I think, just had a little bit of ick on them tracks. But hopefully that should have fixed it. There we go. Should be tight enough now. Go on, we'll give this one a quick try and just see whether it actuates. I don't know if this is exactly the same resistance as the other one actually, because like I said, one of them's for the front and one of them's for the rear. But we'll see if this does exactly the same thing again. I'll just get you zoomed out. And get you on there. Yeah, you can see the meters there, can't you? I'll move this in a little bit. Right, so what we need, one uncommon. In fact, what I should do is just give that actually no, they're nice and clean in there. I was thinking about giving them contacts in there a clean, but no, they're nice and shiny. They weren't on the other one. The other one I had to give them a right scrub, but I'm going to the common on that one there, like that. Then we'll go off there, like that. We'll go that on the two. So let's go on this side there. Oops. There we go. And then we'll go off the other side of here. We can connect that up to there, and then we just need a ground for that meter, and we can pick that up off the other meter. It's not ideal, but I've not got any other cables down here, so we'll have to do what we can do. Hopefully you can see them. And if we just stick that in there, that should, we can get a good contact. Oops. Let's see if that's going to work. That's showing that changing, but that's not. Let's see if we can get a bit of contact somewhere for the ground for that. As I can hold it in. I'll try the other way around, because we got it the other way around, didn't we? if this will work. Has that got us? And hopefully if we, let me just tilt you up a little bit. You see the numbers on there, can't you? So hopefully we turn this way. Ah, that's not good. So this one's still got a fault on it by the look of it. Either that or I'm not getting this to connect properly. You can see that side seems to be actuating alright. Not that my connections here are very, very good, but the other side we don't seem to be getting anything. If you look. Let's try swap it just in case it's the meter that's at fault. Let's try disconnecting that side there and connecting this side up here. Oh, it could have just gone. Right, hang on a minute. Oh, we may be, hang on. I think we might be alright actually. I think it might have just been a bad connection. Let's try connecting this on this side, and if that meter comes on. I was getting worried then. Right, let's see what happens this time. So we're all the way that way. If we pull it this way. No, that's not... Oh, that's... It helps if I have that set to the resistance range, doesn't it? I'm a bloody idiot, aren't I? Right. Let's see if this is going to work. So we've got 1 and we've got 4 there. We're set onto the 2 meg range. And if we turn it that way, there we go. You see it swaps over. 4 and a 1 over there. Pull it back. And at no point is it juttering out. I should really have it on an analog meter. I had 2 analog meters, it would be really not easy to see it sweep. But I'm happy with that. That's changing correctly like it should. So for literally a few minutes work, bearing in mind the mechanic was thinking he may have to change both of these. That'd have been from Lexus £700 for them two. That's where it's took me. Well, you've seen me there just do one. Okay, the first one I did take a little bit more time because it was in a lot worse condition. It's a pity I didn't actually make a video of me doing that. But so I literally had to take all that and dunk it in a, well, basically the insides, the springs and the bits of it, and that back. Not that back bit, but the screws, the bits inside that I could get out. Basically, I had to dunk in my ultrasonic cleaner and get all the crud off them, and clean the track up and what have you. And yeah, that one's okay now. And obviously, you've just seen me clean the track on that one, and that one seems to be sweeping all right again now. So yeah, just shows you £700 it cost you to replace in about 20 minutes, half an hour's work, and it looks like they're both nicely working again. So I thought I'd just make a quick vid. I mean, I don't know if it'll be any use to anyone in the future, but so if you have this issue with a Lexus with air suspension and the garage want you to replace these things, it might be worth just spending half an hour and see if you can sort them out like that and get them going again. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, I know this isn't my usual kind of video, but I thought at least someone out there might find that useful. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.